On this night, I made a pork chop sheet pan meal with roasted radishes and potatoes, and then I made some canned green beans on the side. So right here, I'm just cutting off the ends of the radishes and then cutting the radishes in half and placing them on my greased sheet pan. Now I'm cutting up my washed potatoes into bite-sized pieces. Now I'm going to place my boneless pork chops in the middle of the sheet pan. I'm doing this to separate the potatoes and the radishes. Here you see me drizzling the radishes, the pork chops, and the potatoes with some olive oil. Then I'm going to add some salt and pepper to all of it, and as well as some ranch seasoning. That was all the seasoning that I put on everything, and it all tasted really good together. Once everything was seasoned up, I just used my hands to mix everything together and laid the potatoes and the radishes flat on the pan so there wasn't any overlapping and everything cooked evenly. I placed this in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes and everything was cooked perfectly. On this morning, my husband is preparing a pulled pork in the crock pot. He is seasoning the pork butt roast with some pepper, some red hog seasoning, and some red pepper flakes. When he puts it into the crock pot, he's going to season the other side and then pour a beer over it. I know it might seem kind of weird to put beer in with the pork, but you really can't taste it. It's just, I can't really explain it unless you try it. It's so good. The alcohol burns off, and I highly recommend it. This is how we make our turkey for Thanksgiving. Instead of pouring water or club soda in with the turkey to keep it moist, we pour in a beer, and all it does is keep the meat moist and adds a ton of flavor. So I highly recommend trying cooking with beer. We cooked this in the crock pot on low for about 10 hours, and when it was done cooking, it was falling apart. It was so good. I highly, highly recommend trying this. So now I'm just cutting up some broccoli to steam in a pot on the stove. What I do is I just cut the little pieces off. What are those things called? I don't know, like the trees. I cut the trees and cut the trunks off the trees, okay? So all you have left is the branches with the leaves. There you go. That's how I cut my broccoli. When I'm finished, I put it in a pot with some water, but the water goes like halfway up to the vegetable line. That way it's not boiling and it just kind of steams the veggies. I don't add any salt or pepper or seasonings to this. I just steam it, and that is it. If I overcook my broccoli, I think it is gross and nasty, so I just cook it so that it's soft enough to cut with a fork, but it's not really crunchy. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but this is the way I think broccoli tastes good. So I'm just serving the pulled pork on a bun with some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, some tater tots, and my broccoli. It was delicious. On this night, we just had the breakfast pizza from Aldi. This is like a sausage gravy with cheese on top, and it has a biscuit crust. You've seen this on my What's for Dinners before. I served it with some scrambled eggs and some cut up strawberries, and it was a very easy night, but it was good. This next night, we went to our local Mexican restaurant and had dinner. It was really nice to go out. I had some chicken chimichangas with refried beans and a guacamole salad. My husband had the fajitas with steak and chicken and shrimp. And then my son had a cheeseburger and french fries. I hope you enjoyed this week's What's for Dinner. If you did, hit that like button and consider joining my YouTube family for more videos like this and more. Bye, y'all!